what do you think your mind or your heart or your emotions are telling you in that moment?
That you had a really good life in that country, and that like you just miss having like those kind of like, you just miss being like in some of those situations where like you're hanging out with your friends, or you're going to like you're going to like a restaurant, or you're going to like an amusement park. Like it means that you had a really good life there. And even if you don't get homesick, it doesn't mean that you didn't have a good life there. It just means that maybe you love traveling more than you love your home country. And that's fine.
I really like that idea of being homesick. It's not this idea of you want to leave where you are right now because you don't like it. It means you enjoyed your life so much before that there's moments that you kind of miss it.
Yeah.
Hey there, and welcome to the Digital Nomad Family Podcast. This is the place where families who have or want to have a nomadic lifestyle come together to talk about the highs and lows that this life brings. We celebrate the joys and support each other in the hard. So, if you are a digital nomad family, or will be in the future, this is the place for you. We're glad you're here.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Digital Nomad Family Podcast. I am very excited because right now I am sitting with a super cool person that I'm going to introduce you to in just a little bit. But before I get to that, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who has reached out either on Instagram or on a review and told me that the 5 Favorite Things series was helpful. I really enjoy knowing that the content that's being put out on here helps people, because that's the entire reason I do what I do, is because I genuinely, in the deepest parts of my heart, want to help other people who are living this nomadic, full-time travel, whatever you call it, lifestyle. That is why I take the time to record this podcast. So thank you so much. And if you got anything out of that series, I would love to hear about it. Pop over to either Instagram. Over there, we are Family of Dashes. Pop over there. You can send me an email. And I would just love to hear what you thought about it, and also let me know some of your favorite stuff. So yeah, today's episode, as you saw, when you clicked on the title of this, is a guest interview. And the focus of this is homesickness in our kids. And this is a very important subject, in my opinion, because our kids are going to get homesick. It's going to happen. And that doesn't mean that you stop living this lifestyle. It doesn't mean that they don't enjoy it. All it means is that right then in that season that they're walking through, whether it's just a couple days or maybe they struggle with it for a few weeks, it just means that they're longing for something that they don't have. And as parents, we need to listen to them and not freak out, not get scared that this lifestyle is messing them up, or that, their homesickness is going to have to come first and this lifestyle is going to have to stop. That's not what it means. It simply means our kids are needing something, and we need to figure out what they need. And so I thought the best way to talk about this was to have a full-time nomadic kid talk about it, because what better person to hear how to help our kids than a kid themselves. So my guest today her name is Rilee, and she is super cool, and she is my daughter, and I am very excited to hear what she has to say. Full disclosure, I've already heard it, but I'm excited for you to hear what she has to say, because I think she's pretty smart. I know I'm biased. That's okay. And so a couple things that I like to introduce my guests well and let people know about them. So I asked Rilee, I said, what are 3 things you want the people listening to this to know about you? And her first one was that she has ADHD, and she thinks that that's pretty cool. She identifies with that in a pretty deep way. And She wanted you to know that. Number 2, she wanted you to know she loves traveling. So even though we're going to talk today about homesickness, we're even going to talk about some of the moments she has experienced homesickness. She loves to travel. She loves getting stamps in that passport. She loves experiencing new cultures and seeing new places. So she genuinely loves travel. And number 3, she loves anime. She is all about watching it, reading it, drawing it. It's cool. She is currently wearing a jacket that has anime all over it. It's kind of her life right now. So, Rilee, welcome to the Digital Nomad Family Podcast.
Thank you. It's really cool to do this.
Yeah? It's nice to hang out with your mom here.
Yeah.
She looked around a little bit like I'm not 100% sure if she's being truthful. So, we're going to just go with yes.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I'm not making her do this. Am I making you do this?
No.
Okay, good. So, how do you feel about talking about homesickness?
I do on this podcast, I do think that's a really good thing to talk about because everybody's going to struggle with this at some point. But me personally, if you just came and asked me do you want to talk about how homesick you are? I would just be all you need to know is I'm homesick and I need to stay active.
Okay. Which is why you have some tips here of how to help kids when they're feeling homesick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But do you think that you do feel like this is an important topic for parents to think about?
Yeah.
Okay. When you are feeling homesick, do you think that means you should just go back to America and not travel anymore?
No, of course not.
What do you think your mind or your heart or your emotions are telling you in that moment?
That you had a really good life in that country and that you just miss having those kind of you just miss being in some of those situations where you're hanging out with your friends or you're going to you're going to a restaurant or you're going to an amusement park. Mm-hmm. It means that you had a really good life there. And even if you don't get homesick, it doesn't mean that you didn't have a good life there. It just means that maybe you love traveling more than you love your home country. And that's fine.
I really like that idea of being homesick. It's not this idea of you want to leave where you are right now because you don't like it. It means you enjoyed your life so much before that there's moments that you kind of miss it.
Yeah.
Okay, so parents, from the words of my 12-year-old, if your kids get homesick, it means you were doing something right before you started traveling.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. I like it. So, Rilee, you have some tips for us, yeah?
Yep.
How many tips do you have?
4 tips. And then I have something that kind of helps me more than these things.
Okay. So you have 4 tips and then kind of almost like a secret weapon.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Well, let's just dive in and talk about 4 ways parents can help their kids when their kid is feeling homesick. Is that what we're focused on here?
Yep.
Awesome. So give us tip number 1.
My first tip is to go shopping. The best way for me, and you'll see in a lot of these tips, is I have to stay active to either cope with being homesick or to fully get rid of it in that moment. Does not mean that I'm going to get homesick ever again. It's just in that moment. So the best, one of the best ways to help me is if I go somewhere and I go shopping. If there are many different kinds of homesickness, but the main homesickness that I struggle with is being away from my friends or there was this amusement park called Busch Gardens and I really miss that. So, and there were a lot of shops at Busch Gardens and being in those shops kind of made me feel at home. So when I go shopping, it just it's making me stay active. It's making me think, there are these other places in different countries where I can have just the same amount of fun as I did at that I did with my friends, or I did like at amusement parks.
Okay. So when you say go shopping, do you mean for groceries?
Well, like you take us shopping into town a lot for groceries, but like it's also good if you like have to spend like
If you guys could have seen the look she just gave me, like, I don't really love grocery shopping with you, Mom. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Keep going.
it's fine. But like if you like set off like a Saturday or like a Friday or like even like a Sunday to just like go like I don't know, like to the mall, or like the mall for us is like really far away. It's like 2 hours away from here. But to like go into like go to a store that like you have learned that you love here, like wherever you are. Like there's this one store that I really love here, and it's in many different places, and it's not that hard to get to. So like if I could just like go there for a day and like just like spend the day looking in there, and then like go get something to eat and like go to another place, just like a whole outing day, like that's really good to cope with homesickness.
Okay. And what do you think it is specifically about going shopping and maybe grabbing a drink or something like that, like we'll do? What do you think it is about that whole process that helps you with the homesickness? Is it because maybe you get to spend some money? Is it because it's giving your brain something to focus on? What specifically about this activity do you think helps you and would help another kid?
Well, it's both of those things, but it's also like you get to spend time with the people you love. Like if like me and Mom like had like a day out, and like I get to spend time with her, and that makes me think like, oh, we used to do this back in America. Like we can still do these things in different countries.
Okay. I really like that. Okay. So it's more so even in regards to shopping, even if we were to go maybe jump on the bus, go in to like the large city near us, maybe find like a drink, walk around and just kind of explore that city when we could do some window shopping. Do you think that would hit the same important parts of this, or does it have to be a mall building?
No, you can go anywhere. Like I said, like the town that we're close to doesn't really have like a big market. Like all the shops are really tiny. It still has the same effect of going to a huge mall with tons and tons of like places and like food mart and like everything. Like
It doesn't have to be like a mall.
No, it doesn't have to be like a mall.
Okay, great. Well, so that is tip number 1, she says, go shopping. And especially, do you think it would be better, like let's say you're experiencing some homesickness, would you prefer it if it was just me or you? Do you want your siblings to go? Do you want it to be a family thing? Do you think that the amount of people matters?
Well, I don't think that the amount of people matters, but like whenever like we're going out places, like me and my siblings are siblings and we will fight. So like I think the best way to deal with it is like if just like me and my sister and my mom like went shopping. If like just us girls went shopping, or even if like
I get it.
Yeah.
It gives you kind of a chance to decompress from all the people that you live with.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. Number 1, go shopping. What is your second tip?
Call with your friends. So this is really great for me because like whenever like I am like struggling missing my friends, the best way to get over that is to kind of like be on a call with your friends and ask them like, oh well, how's wherever you live? Like if you lived in like, I don't know, like if you lived in like the Mississippi, you could just have to be like, how's Mississippi going? Like how, like what does it look like now? Or just like, I don't know, like the best way that I can do it is like be on a video call with my friends, or even just a normal call, and play some video games.
So staying in contact with your friends back home, it can help with the homesickness.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Is there a particular way that you would encourage other kids? Because, not all kids are going to have their own cell phone. And even if they have a cell phone, calls out of country can be really expensive. So how would you suggest doing this? What are some ways that you stay in contact with your friends?
I mostly just like text. Okay. So like even if like you didn't have your own device, and if you're already a digital nomad, like if you're a digital nomad parent and like your kids don't have a device, I would highly suggest getting them one. Okay. Because like you're gonna need them for like travel, you're gonna need them for airplanes. And if you're thinking about becoming a digital nomad and your kids don't have a device, I would also highly suggest getting them as well.
Okay. So by device, do you mean like they need their own cell phone?
No, like I don't even have my own cell phone. Like I share a cell phone with my siblings, okay. But like I have my own iPad. Ah, okay. And like I use like messaging, I use Discord. Like those are like the things that, like I like use. Okay. So like just like even if like you needed like your parents' phone to do it, okay. Like yeah.
So since you have an iPad, a lot of your friends back home also have Apple products. Yes. And so because of that, you guys can FaceTime each other, yeah?
Yeah.
Which is really nice. Just, stepping in here as the mom, knowing that she can like be on, and all of our kids can be on the Wi-Fi, but still do either a FaceTime, either an audio call and just like a normal cell phone call, or a video call if they want to see their friends. It makes it really convenient. So yeah, all of our kids have their own devices, either an iPad, and then we have one, like Rilee said, we have one cell phone and we call it the kids' phone. So then that way, if they go to the park or something, they can take a phone with them, and Eric and I still have a phone. That's how we manage it. And then now that Martin is 15 and Rilee's getting a little bit older too, we're getting close to having like their own phones. We're getting close to that, but we're not quite there yet. But that's how we manage kind of devices. We have one kid phone for out and about, and then they each have their own tablets. So, okay. When you talk with your friends back home in America, how does that help your homesickness?
Just like taking your mind off of it and like thinking like, oh, I can still have contact with my friends. Or like, I don't have those many friends back in America. Yeah. I actually make more friends out of the country. So like I have like this whole like group thing only about like the kid, like the other like mostly girls, because like I'm a girl. Right. So like I just have like this whole chat with like where me and my friends can talk. Like, and they're not always in America.
Got it. So by friends, it can just be as a digital nomad kid. And this is why I love having a podcast specifically for nomadic families, because I think Rilee hit the nail on the head there, saying, yeah, I do have friends in America, right? Like it's not like you have no friends there.
Yeah, yeah.
But you also have friends from other countries all around this world.
Yeah.
And being able to keep in touch with them is important. It's just as important as keeping up with your friends that you had in America. Would you say that that's true?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay. So keeping in contact with your friends, call your friends. And this is just what works for our family. I don't want, if you're a parent and you're listening to this and you're like, I don't want my kid to have their own device, I don't want that, then ignore this tip. Okay. Don't think that this is us saying that your kids have to have a device. They don't. Every family gets to manage devices in their own way. This is just how we have chosen to manage devices. Like we do have screen time limits for our kids and that kind of stuff. But they do have a device in which they can keep in contact with their friends. And as our kids are getting older and they're getting into more social media and that kind of stuff, I don't want this to become a podcast about the stranger danger online or anything like that. But at the same time, one, you have to be safe, right? Like it's our number one job as parents to keep these amazing humans that we get to care for a while safe. Like job number one, keep my kids safe.
Yeah. Like, we are not allowed to speak with like anybody online that we don't know. Like the game Roblox. Tons and tons of people play it. And I have seen like so many things on like YouTube about people actually making good friends and like meeting them in real life, and they're actually really good friends in real life as well. but it can also be dangerous. Like there could be like a kid that says like, oh, I'm 15 years old. Reality, they're like 42. Like making friends online can be very dangerous.
Yeah. That's a PSA from a 12-year-old. I love it. And so we are careful with how our kids use devices, but at the same time, Eric and I, like what we've figured what works for our family. Again, this is just us. The internet is not going away. Social media is not going away. And so as our kids are with us in our home and we have the influence and the authority that we have in their lives right now, we're trying to use that influence to teach them about social media. So things like Discord, things like Roblox, things like Instagram, things like TikTok. How can we help our kids learn these things, learn about these things, learn to use these things in a healthy and safe way? Because if I know my kids, and if I were to tell some of them, you can't touch social media until you're, 18 years old, well, then they're going to become 18. They're going to get on all the social media and they're just going to go crazy because they're not going to know how to be safe on it. So again, this is just what works for us. So I would say that's a great tip, Rilee. Keep in contact with your friends, no matter what country you met them in, right? Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. You should always keep on contact with your friends. And just like we were talking about devices, if you get a device, it's also a great way to punish your children. Oh, gosh. That's mom and dad's number one way is
we've taken a side road, people, but she's not wrong. Our kids do get disciplined by no iPad for the day. That's a kind of a standard in the house. She's not wrong. Okay, are you ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, number 3. What's your tip number 3 for them?
Go do what you miss if you can.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Let's say in your home country, you really miss playing basketball. And this is the thing that I used to explain this to mom earlier. Let's say you really miss basketball and there's a park near you that has there's even if it doesn't have a basketball hoop, if there's a park near you, or even if you have just a patio outside with a hardwood floor, don't do it inside. That's dangerous, y'all. But go get a basketball if you can, mm-hmm. and go just dribble it, go shoot it. If you can, this is a really big part. If you can do what you miss, then go do it. Let's say I a lot of the times am struggling with not being able to go to go to big parks and go to amusement parks. I can't really do that here, but I can go to tinier parks, and I can my little brother, he loves playing imagination. That is his number one go-to thing. And if he most of the time I say no, I don't want to because I'm doing my own thing. But if they ever if he ever asks oh, Rilee, do you want to play imagination? And if I'm very homesick that day, then I probably will play imagination because it's just these so many cool things that you can do with your mind. Mm. But even if you don't have a little brother or something like that, or if you don't have a little sister, and even if nobody in your family likes to play imagination, just try to think about anything that you can do. Let's say that you miss drawing, maybe you was an artist in America, go buy some pencils and some paper and just start drawing. Go do what you miss.
Okay. I think that is a really great tip. And on the parent side of this, I would say definitely consider what your kids were in, especially if they were in a lot of activities before you became a full-time nomadic family. They are going to miss those things. If they were in a lot of team sports and now they're not in any team sports, they're going to miss that. They're going to miss the team feeling. They're going to miss practices. There's a lot to that they're going to miss, and that could contribute to homesickness. And so I would encourage you, if there are ways that you can help them connect with some of the stuff that they had to say goodbye to when you transition to a nomadic family, that would be great. An example is rock climbing. Rilee and I used to rock climb a decent amount in the States, and now we don't have any rock climbing gear with us at all. And it's something that I actually miss a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been missing rock climbing more, and I think it's because like in America, you have like all these like things that you can do, and like it's like, oh, you have all these like where we live, like we had like all these like things, and even if like it's probably like that in your own country, I shouldn't say probably, but like you have like so many of these things that you can do, but like when you're a digital nomad, it's kind of cut off. So I think that could like make people more homesick, like that feeling of there are these things that I just can't do.
Yeah. And I think so, like if you rock climb a lot before you become a nomadic family, I think it's totally fine to not travel with your rock climbing gear. Like how often are you going to be near a gym, all that kind of stuff. But let's say you're in a city and it's like, you know what? I can see that my kid is struggling a little bit. They need something to do. Jump over to Google Maps and see, is there a rock climbing gym near you that you can rent some equipment, that you can go there just for one day and just kind of get like a little fix of, you know what, this is something that we used to do together in America. And guess what? I'm still here for you. We're still able to connect in this way because, like I said at the start of the episode, I don't think homesickness is our kids saying, I don't like it here. I think it's them saying, there's something that I need. And we have to help them figure out, what is that thing that you're missing? Are you missing connection? Are you missing the connection with friends? Are you missing connection with family? Are you missing connection with me? And so giving them that time to just connect with you, even if it's just a one-time thing in that country, you go rock climbing one time and that's it. That could really help them in that moment. And even if it doesn't help the homesickness go away completely, it is going to help them see, hey, mom or dad, they were with me through that hard struggle that I was having. And I know that I can trust them to help me when I am struggling with stuff. Does that make sense, Rilee?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So try to do stuff that you used to do in your home country. Yeah. Tip number 3.
Yep.
Awesome. Do you have anything else to say about that? Are you ready to move on to number 4?
We can definitely move on.
Okay. What is number 4?
Cook anything. So even if like you're not the type of family who would normally like cook stuff, something great that like you can do is like something great that you can do is just like go and like buy some ingredients. And even if like you're not like, even if the rest of your family likes it and you don't like it, like if you're an adult and you don't like cooking as much, your child might really, really want to do that. And I would say like, you could like even just like give them a recipe and like show them like, if you know like how the stove works and they don't, just like teach them how the stove works. So they can like learn to do that. And I just think cooking is a great way because like with cooking or even baking most likely for me, you need to like have your hands on like all these different things and you have to be so focused. They're not really thinking so much about like how homesick you are and the things you miss. Also,
Okay.
like whenever I'm homesick, it's great if like my mom can cook our Gigi's pancakes, which was our great-great-grandma's pancakes. Like whenever she makes those, like I just feel so much better after that.
So by cook something, would you say it's the act of cooking? Like you have to be, like you, Rilee, have to be the one in the kitchen doing it? Or is it you think that the parent should cook something that they made a decent amount in their home country? Or is it both of those things?
It's definitely both.
So she's saying, if you're feeling homesick, maybe find a recipe that you can make together as a parent-child activity.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also maybe make some favorites from back home if you're able to.
Definitely.
Okay, nice. How does that help you when you're feeling homesick? What about that? I know you said when you're doing the cooking, then you're busy, you're focused on this. So that makes sense to me. But why does it make you feel better like when I make something like Gigi's pancakes, or like tonight we're going to have meatloaf for dinner, which is a very normal American meal for us, right?
Yeah.
Why do those types of meals help you feel better when you're feeling homesick?
It like helps me, just like most of the other things. You still have that kind of connection that you did back in your home country.
Okay. So, before we move on here to like your secret weapon, as I've taken to calling it, which, did you tell me this, or is this a surprise for me too? I thought so. I was like, I don't remember this. It's a surprise for me too, people. Surprise for me too. So before we get to your secret weapon, what I feel like I'm hearing you say, lots of times when you are experiencing homesickness, what you want is that reassurance that you haven't lost connection with your home country.
Yeah.
Either the emotional connection, emotional connection, like with your friends, your family, or that cultural connection of this is the food I eat, these are the activities I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So I think that is actually really, really smart, and a lot of great insight there to say that usually my homesickness is connected to this, that I want to feel that I haven't lost that connection, that is still there, because I think at the end of the day, we all want to make sure that we know where we belong, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes as a digital nomad kid, I think it can be tricky to understand fully where you belong.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you were born in one country, but now you're traveling all around the place. And when you go back to your home country and you are hanging out with your friends or your family, like your cousins, you have all these crazy adventure stories of stuff that you did. And they have all these stories of this is what happened in school. These are the sports I'm in. And it's not saying that your stories are better, that their stories are better. They're just very different. And since you move around so much, it can almost start to make you question, where do I belong?
Yeah.
Okay. And so maintaining that connection to the country that you're from, whether it's America, England, South Africa, Australia, Ireland, here in Peru, no matter what country you're from, helping you as a kid maintain that connection to that country is important.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Nice. Thank you, Rilee. I appreciate that. Are you ready to tell us the secret weapon?
Yes.
Okay. Take it away.
So the thing that the thing that makes me feel better, and this might not be everybody, but at the start, my mom said that one of my favorite things is anime. Whenever I draw anime, it makes me feel so much better. Like whenever I'm drawing like anime or, manga in general, whenever I'm drawing manga, it just makes me feel so much better. Cause this is something that I didn't do in America. I never drew anime in America, but you can find these so much, you can find all these different new hobbies. Now, since we've been traveling, you need to for me, I need to keep my hands doing something. So drawing and crocheting are the two things that take my mind off of things. And I can just I can sit down and I can do this thing. I can listen to music while I do it. And just makes me feel so much better to know that I can draw, I can crochet. I can just always keep my hands on something.
Nice. Okay. I think that's a really important tip. So staying busy
Yeah, my secret weapon, which is basically everything else.
Your secret weapon.
My secret weapon.
Staying busy. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I hope that you guys got as much out of that as I got out of it, because I think those were 4 fantastic tips with a very exciting surprise ending there. Talking about staying busy, which is true, right? Think about times where you are feeling a little bit homesick. It does feel worse in those moments where you are just staying at home all day, you're not going out and about, because then you kind of feel bored, you start to wonder, why am I here? And all these negative thoughts can creep in. And so the same is true with our kids. If they're just hanging out at the house or the apartment all day and nothing really exciting is happening and they don't have any hobbies to keep them distracted, then yeah, homesickness is going to just come in like a gale force wind and knock them over, I think. And hearing Rilee say keeping busy, drawing, learning a new skill like crocheting, which crocheting is something that you started doing here. This isn't something that you did in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we're going to end it there because those were 4 amazing tips with a really good insight there at the end. So I hope that you guys got something out of it. I would love it so much if you would go over to iTunes and leave a review, leave a rating. Go ahead and let Rilee know what you thought of her tips. I'll definitely be sure to read them to her. And I hope that you guys...
Except anything bad. If you have anything bad to say about it, then just don't say anything.
Okay, that's maybe don't say anything bad about the 12-year-old. That's fair. So I do want to hear though what you guys have to say about the podcast in general, and feel free to say anything bad about me or the podcast. That's okay.
It's not any of the kids.
Just not the kids.
It's not any of my siblings or any of the kids.
That's a fair thing. Maybe be nice about the kids, but let me know if the podcast could use some help in one way or another. So I hope that you guys are having good traveling times, that your families are doing well. And as always, I hope that you continue to travel joyfully.